Why do you think, when we go to a yoga studio, we see so many women, and the proportions are often like 90% women and 10% guys? I don't know if this is something you've encountered, but whenever I go, like I've been traveling and checking different places, and normally, there's like me and like two other guys maximum doing yoga. Why do you think, you know, guys are not so attracted to it? It's such a great practice, and it creates so many benefits. What do you think? It's the reason.
It goes into the dogma of what the perception of what yoga is and what it's supposed to do. And I've been, since I started teaching yoga, I've been trying to change his perception. And I think, as being the type of teacher that I am and the way that my social media looks, or whatever, I tend to attract a lot more men. So my
Mm.
classes are generally more men than most classes I go to. But when I go to like a different country and I show up, then yeah, I see the same thing. It's predominantly women, but I don't know. It has changed. It has changed definitely a lot since I started practicing. The amount of men going into it, and in LA, there are certain places, LA, maybe Singapore, uh, London as well. I think there's a lot more men in these bigger cities, and it depends on the teacher and the community, because uh, one of the things with yoga is about community. It's called the sangha. Sangha means community, and one of the reasons that I love yoga, and especially being someone that travels around all the time, is I could show up and be a part of that community. So if that community welcomes men into it, there's going to be a lot more men in the class. And if you're in a place where yoga is still considered feminine, then men tend to stay away from that because they don't want to be associated with that. So I don't know, because like when I started, I was 21 years old in the Marine Corps, and I was wrestling for the All Marine team, and I was going to martial arts, and it was through martial arts that I was introduced to yoga. And in my martial arts class, it was only men. There was not a single female in there, and so for me, like, um, yoga was very masculine. And the first studio that I went to after that, after doing yoga and martial arts, was from one of the instructors, who was a fourth degree black belt, and also a yogi, opened a yoga studio, and he was a Brian Kest power yoga teacher. And so that yoga studio I went to was full of men, and this is in Southern California. So I didn't really even notice that division between men and women until I started traveling more. But yeah, it's
Mm.
community. It changes from place to place, and I don't. I think it'll continue to grow. Yoga has grown tremendously around the world, and it's still new in some places, which is surprising, because this is a really, I mean, it's an ancient practice, but it's changing, and also the way people are practicing it is changing a lot. It's becoming less dogmatic, less having to be these whatever quote unquote traditional postures, and now I'm seeing people add in more uh, like calisthenic type things, or more explosive things, or just different types of movement that we wouldn't normally just associate with what asana practice is. And I think as we move into different forms of movement, it's going to attract more people. But if we keep it just slow stretching and easy postures, then I think more women are going to be attracted to that, because it's more for their body type. And that's also kind of a slightly dogmatic viewpoint, and I don't even know if I fully agree with that, my own statement that I just said. But who knows?